Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Ryan with Iowa Classic Cars, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to start part 2 of this endless project car, the original paint, 1959 Impala, 2-door hardtop. So I'm going to show you guys today how to take out the quarter windows, because they are a real bear to take out. I'm going to work on taking out the windshield, and as you guys can see here, while I was not filming, I took out the back glass. If you guys want to watch that, I'll put a short clip in from my camera, or my security camera, of taking the windshield out. Pretty easy to do, but the one big thing that we'd found here was that the trunk itself, right here, where it meets up to the back window shelf, is fairly rusty. Now this side's not terrible. It's got a little bit of crust right here in the pillar. But right here itself is not that bad. I mean, need a little bit of rust repair right here. Let's go to the other side though, and I'll show you guys the real damage. So here's the passenger side, and you could see this rust right here, but you could not see any of this. This whole panel from about here to right here needs to all be rebuilt. Now, I'm gonna try to find a 2-door hardtop donor here, made out of like a 59 Pontiac or something. I do have a shelf section from a 59 Impala. I just don't know if I have all of this right here. So we're going to figure that out, but I talked to Marshall. He's going to try his best to fix that. If he can't, he knows some really good guys out by Chicago that can fix it. The roof, as we know or knew, does have some rust in it. We're going to try to patch that. The one big bummer here, though, is that this little section where the trim, the arm burner trim would go, is really non-existent. The other side's really nice, but this passenger side is just bad. Also, if anyone has restored a 59 2-door hardtop, there is a screw right here that the trim kind of like sits on top of, and I don't know why it's there. I actually thought it was like a, someone put an extra screw in somewhere along the line, but the other side has it as well. So I don't know what that's for. I'm going to leave it for now. But if you guys know what that is, please let me know. So I've got the driver's side quarter window out. Man, these things are a bear to get out. So we're going to work on the driver's side now, and I'll show you guys some tips on how to pull them and reinstall them fairly easily. All right, so to begin, you have to take off the door panel or quarter window panel, whatever you want to call it, and you need to get the access cover off. There's like 6 screws on this. They're just Phillips. They're pretty easy to take off. If they don't come off, just drill them. Not a big deal. The window mechanism itself will stay in place. So these 4 bolts right here, just leave them alone. These 2 bottom screws, they hold in part of the track. Behind all this tape, there's actually some more bolts and some screws. If they're bolts or if they're nuts, they're 7/16, and if they're screws, they're just these big Phillips. There's also a screw right here, and then a screw right up here. That will have your other side of the pivot. So I'm going to take all of this stuff off, expose the bolts, and we'll go from there. For the ease of this video, that screw is totally filled up with gunk and rust, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But the next thing to do, here is the quarter window itself, right here. Here's the track that it runs on with the regulator. There's a screw here and a screw over here. So you need to roll the window up and down and get those screws out of there. Now, this is a problem because these so often, and I think I'm going to fight it here with this side specifically, these so often get rusted in there and you just cannot get them. It's really hard to get to them just because there's not a whole lot of clearance, and you have to have the window rolled up a certain way. So if you take out one screw and then this one fights you, it's just a real bear to get to them. So keep your fingers crossed when you take these out that the 2 screws come out. But once that's done, you will need to come over here to the side, and right here, this is a gasket. So there's a screw right there that holds it in place. Just take that loose, then kind of pry this out. You have to have this out, and you also have to have the trim right here out. These are just held on with some Phillips screws, but they can also be a real pain in the butt because one screw is right there, and if it decides that it doesn't want to turn, there's like 3 inches of clearance there. It's very, very hard to get those. So once the 2 screws are out down here, the gasket is out right here. I did lie again. Instead of a screw here and a screw here, it's right here and right here. The first thing you want to do is take these two totally off and get that window channel out of the way. Just kind of finesse it down and then pull it out of the way for right now, just to get it out of there, because this window does want to roll on both tracks. Once that's done, here's the two bolts for the top portion of the track. They're 7/16, and the bottoms are down here. These on this side are screws, on the other side they were nuts, which is kind of odd. This is your window stop, that can stay in place, but you take these two loose, take the bottom two loose, and you kind of have to like push the track over and down, because you have to get it out of these little grooves that it's sitting in, and then once you get it out of there, you need to push it down so that the window comes up. So once I get all this ready to go, I'll actually film how to pull this window, but that's kind of the main idea here. All right, guys, hopefully the camera stays cooperative here. So I've got the 4 bolts out on the big runner, on the big track, I mean. I've got the window drilled out because the one screw in the front was rotten, which is great. I got the back track taken off of here. So now it's just kind of an ordeal. All right. Okay, so the track just fell off, which is great. So let me get out of here. And I kind of have to go to the inside, and the entire thing comes out. So there's a screw I had to drill out right there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. But when you do this, putting them back in is a real chore, because pretty much you have to start here. You have to get your track, which let me grab the track. Well, the whole thing ain't gonna come out. Let me take out the window regulator. I'm not gonna do that, but you essentially have to have one guy in here holding the track like this, get your window to come in, and you kind of have to like push this on, push the window down, work this down into its hole, and it's just a chore. So whenever we get to that point, I will film that, but it probably takes half an hour, 45 minutes aside, just because it's so tedious. You know, getting it in here, then it doesn't want to go, and you're caught up, so you have to move and reposition, and what a pain in the butt. But nonetheless, the easy part's done, and we're going to put this quarter window over with the other one. All right, guys, so I'm going to go eat dinner here tonight. It's Saturday night here, but making some good progress. I cut the back two body mounts. I'm using the torch style Sawzall blades. I can't remember who makes them, but man, those blades are great for body mount bolts. The body mount right here, let me see if I can show you guys this. Gotta get underneath here, which is kind of tough. That body mount right there. This side I had to cut, but you can see there's a little bit of corrosion starting. And on the other side, thankfully, I didn't have to cut it, but the bolt just snapped. So when Marshall gets this car in the rotisserie, definitely have to replace those as well, but I do have a good floor section here with those braces, so that should be okay. I'll just drill the spot welds in a future episode, and we'll take those braces to Marshall and let him do his magic. Got the doors shut. This fender has been pushed back. Very tight clearance right here. The door gap looks like it's off, but that's because the weather stripping is taken off of it. Yeah, so I was going to take the windshield out tonight. That's a two-person job. I'm going to get my old man here tomorrow to help me take the hood off. Probably take the windshield out of it. All the body mounts are loose except for the two up here. So tomorrow's plan is take the hood off, take the radiator out of it, take the bumper and all that good stuff off, that beautiful grill guard, And once that's done, we're going to lift the entire thing. If I can get the fender bolts off, I mean, the whole front clip needs to come off, but we can lift the body with the front clip on there. As long as the bumpers are gone, all the weight is pretty much, you know, taken off as much as you can. And we'll keep rocking. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll pick up where we left off. All right, guys, we are back, and today we're going to focus on getting the bumper off. There are 2 bolts on each side of the frame. They're tucked inside of the recessed area on the front part of the frame here. 2 bolts. The nut is 7/8. The head of the bolt is 13/16. There is also a kicker right there, a support brace. I can't tell you offhand what the bolt is, but it bolts right there to the frame, 1 single bolt through the frame. Then the entire bumper will come off. What's pretty cool is this car definitely was owned by someone in the Big Red 1, World War II, very patriotic. A Big Red 1 sticker right there. I wish we had some history on this car and find out who actually bought this brand new, but nonetheless, it is pretty cool, regardless, just with the hints we do have. Once that's done, I'm going to disconnect the steering column right there at that knuckle. There's a bolt, and you just kind of loosen it up, and then the whole arm will pop off. Gonna unplug that wiring harness. That wiring harness, there's a couple grounds throughout the body here. My dad's coming here in a couple hours. Gonna take the hood off, and we will then be rocking and rolling. So there is the last body mount right there, and on the other side. There is also a mount right here. You can't see it, but it's right there. And it's like a carriage bolt. They suck. So they're a real pain to get to. So the bumper needs to come off first, really, to get to it a whole lot easier. But once that's done, you just pretty much just take the nut loose. If it does spin, you just put some vice grips on it, and that will take the core support loose. Then the whole thing, you know, bolt the 2 bolts up here, the core support bolts, or I'm sorry, the inner fender bolts right here. One last thing to note is the bumper to the lower valance is connected to the filler piece here with that little bracket and 1 bolt. So just break that bolt, and the whole bumper will come off. So I will see you guys here in a few minutes once the bumper is gone to show you on the back side how it all goes together. All right, guys, so the bumper is off. All the body mounts are disconnected. I'm just going to lift it before my dad gets here. We're going to take the hood off, but I'm going to lift it quick and see if the body truly is free. And if there's something that's catching, I'll disconnect it. So here we go. There is a fuel line back there I have to cut quick. Other than that, it's coming up, so. So the steering shaft is caught against the control arm there, so I'm gonna set it down a little bit and reposition that. Got it? Yeah. When this comes down, I'll hold it right here if you want to get on that side. And then the hood will probably have to carry over and kind of put it like next to the truck. Okay? That's it. That's it. That way. That it? Now I gotta take that steering column loose. Yeah? Yep. Steering shaft. Now let's go back up with it. Around. Everything clearing? What do you do with this one? The lid back on it. Are we going to roll somewhere after that? Yeah, I can have all this garbage. Yeah, it rolls pretty good. Tell me if it looks like it's going to tip or anything over there. All right, everybody. She is officially off of the frame. Thanks, Dad, for helping. Yep. Frame is really nice, I mean, all things considered. Now we can look underneath the floor here. Gotta get the frame moved out of the way, but this trunk riser is really nice. Obviously the pan itself is bad, but we knew that. They make the sheet metal here, it goes all the way up to here, so we're okay. The rear pan, where it counts, is okay, it's getting replaced. The braces are all pretty crusty. The wheel tubs are nice, well on this side anyways, they're nice. This tail panel, it does have some rust, but it's not the worst one I've seen. Very fixable. This wheel tub appears to be in good shape. All right, so with that being said, let's get the frame out of the way and we'll come back. All right, guys, so really quick here. This is a 336 posi. You can see that stamped right there, P. It is a 61 unit. But I don't care because it's going to go in this 1959 Impala. So, with that being said, guys, I have ordered body mounts, all the suspension bushings. I've ordered a couple pieces of sheet metal. I've got all the braces down here on the floor. However, the bushings and stuff will not be here until next week. So, we're going to call it for today. But again, just look at how nice and straight that frame is. There's still some paint, you know, even on the rear end there. The shocks have a little bit of paint on them. Just crazy how, you know, this car can sit for so long. And yeah, it's rusty. And the cat has found some mice in there. But it's such a nice car, all things considered. So, everyone, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a thumbs up. What would you do with this car if you had it? Would you do an Art Morrison chassis? Would you do what I'm going to do and leave the patina the way it is? Or would you spend $80,000 to $120,000 to make this car beautiful in every aspect? Chrome, paint, all that good stuff. I will see you guys next week. This has been episode 2 of the 1959 Chevrolet Impala Restoration. I do need a cool nickname for this car, but it's going to be awesome, guys. The floors will all be brand new. All the interior is brand new. Motor, transmission, the frame. We're going to paint the frame. I have new axle seals and bearings and all that good stuff. So this spring and summer, we're really going to dive into this. But this is the end of the video for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.